Champions League final has concluded, and with it, it concluded many of world-class talents, honestly, in my opinion, in the European stage for quite a while. I mean, everybody saw what happened on that field that day. A 5-0 defeat to PSG is something disproportionate. The defeat that hadn't been seen in the modern era of the Champions League, and a team that absolutely ran past an Inter Milan side who honestly did not look a shadow of itself. The Inter Milan that we had learned to see against Bayern Munich, against Barcelona. That Inter was inexistent in this match. But as I said, there is a new Champions League winner, a new king of Europe. PSG won the Champions League in a stunning display against Inter Milan, and they are once more a new team that gets their first Champions League title in history. So before we get into the Inter destruction, let's go ahead and see what team destroyed them and the winners, the kings of Europe, PSG. Now, leading up into this game, lots of people had this game being pretty even. Lots of people had this midfield pretty even. A very interesting midfield battle. The clash of plays between the two, as I said in my previous videos, an attacking team against a counter-attacking team. And I thought that Barcelona played a very similar football that PSG played. Now, I did think that PSG played the football better than Barcelona, and they clearly showed it in this match. But let's go ahead and go over through the game. PSG came out with hunger. They really were hungry of this for this team. Playing wise, they played the better football of the two. Let's be completely honest here. They played beautiful football, on the eye at least. And although Inter didn't play that distinctive drop back, park the bus football, it was more of a counter-attacking football than PSG's free-flowing, just press heavy. You could even call it heavy metal, where everybody is pressing, everybody wants the ball, and when they have the ball, they just keep calm of it and play beautiful passes all across the pitch. But as we were settling up, it really looked like these two teams hadn't been in the Champions League for a while. Inter obviously were there a couple years ago, but it seemed like they were getting back into defeat. And PSG were also like kind of a bit shaky in my opinion. But after a couple minutes, PSG grabbed their cojones and put a great, beautiful play between Vitinha, an incredible midfielder who I would love for Real Madrid, into Desiree Doué to put an assist, tap in for Achraf Hakimi, who didn't end up celebrating because he played there for one season. And after 12 minutes, PSG is already up, and you can see in the game, I mean, it seems like Inter Milan players drop their heads down, and there's no point in dragging this on, because in the 20th minute, 4 minutes after the first goal, comes Desiree Doué scoring his first of the night. Yes, his first goal of the night. And going into halftime, the tensions were 2-0, but PSG had outplayed Inter Milan in every single aspect, and not a single player from Inter Milan played like they played against Barcelona or played like they play against Bayern Munich. And a lot of people are going to say the press and all of that, but against Barcelona pressed pretty well. I don't think they pressed as well as PSG, but I think they pressed pretty well, and they were able, at least the midfield was able to calmly dominate and touch out of the box and touch away from the pressure and really break into attack. Not only that, but there was a lot of long balls in those previous games where Thuram would hold them, incredible control, man, an incredible force, and give the right pass. They were just sharp. This game, I mean, the first half, Thuram had multiple chances where, as I said, ball long to Thuram, he kills it with his chest, did everything right. Horrendous pass, or miscontrols the ball completely right at the end. Like, completely unsharp this team looked. I mean, every single Nicolo Varela, Charanoglu, and Mkhitaryan couldn't do a single pass, a simple pass even, and it wasn't because they were under pressure. They literally were just giving it to PSG because for some reason they didn't see that PSG were gonna get that ball there. They were so not sharp, and I really thought that second half, Inzaghi was gonna drill them into another. Just come on, sharpen it up and see what happens. But no, they came out and it's the same story. They continue to be dominated by this incredible PSG side. And it was soon seen because in the 63rd minute, great breakaway by PSG, beautiful play between Dembele and Vitinha, who sends a beautiful ball for Desiree Doué to finish. Doué once again scores his second goal of the night, shooting near post to a Jan Sommer who had been incredible for Inter Milan up to that point. And then soon after that, Dembele once again puts a beautiful ball up onto Kvaratskhelia, who gets on a breakaway against a one-on-one against Sommer, and he slots it home near post. Once again, as I said, in the near post for Jan Sommer. And the game at this point is 4-0. Absolute destruction at that point. And I was begging, give Inter like a penalty or something. Give them anything to make this match more entertaining with more risks. But absolutely none of that happened. Shortly after, Luis Enrique puts in Barcola, and Barcola makes the defense of Inter Milan a circus, puts Acerbi on the ground, and you would think it was going to be an easy finish, but he puts it on the side netting, once again shooting for near post. But shortly after that, Barcola 1-2 with the young kid, I don't know what his name is, and slots it home first time, 18 years old. Ridiculous from the PSG team. And the scoreline ends 5-0, 5-0. Nothing that Inter could have done there. Absolutely nothing. They didn't propose a single chance where they were actually up ahead, man. Not a single counterattack, not a single thing put PSG in doubt on whether they will win or not. And the pressing from PSG was absolutely incredible. I mean, Dembele was all over the place, all over the team. Kvaratskhelia won a couple balls as well. He was also insanely good in this game. And lastly, Doué. Incredible match from the 19 years old, man. He could have had a hat trick, but Luis Enrique took him out pretty early on into the match. But a brilliant display from every single team member from PSG. Honestly, if Inter ever had a chance or ever showed signs of sharpness, I wouldn't have had a doubt that PSG would have won. Dominant performance by PSG. Now let's turn on to Inter Milan, because although as I do think PSG played an incredible football, just dominated them, there's a big elephant in the room, is that this Inter Milan did not show up. And I don't mean like, that PSG completely neutralized them. Yeah, they neutralized, but even if they didn't, I don't think this Inter Milan had a single shot on winning this thing. They were so not sharp at all. Like, if it was already going to be a dominant performance by PSG, Inter Milan not even being able to touch a 5-yard pass to each other made it even simpler for PSG to dominate. I mean, as I said, not a single player in that game could know the basics. I mean, you had DeMarco having players onside, miles offside, onside. You had Jan Sommer, one of the best keepers this season, just giving his first post so easily, pretty much damn near every single one of the goals. Barella, Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan, dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And you know they have the quality, they have the talent to really put a good fight up against this midfield, but they didn't even put their hands up against this midfield. They were so not sharp, and this team is supposed to be the team that is in their prime or exiting their prime. Çalhanoğlu is about 30 plus, Mkhitaryan 30 plus, Barella is about 28, 26, 28. Bastoni as well was dreadful. Not even the best center back was dreadful. Lautaro, the whole team didn't show up into the game. It really didn't show up, and it's hard for me to criticize Inzaghi's tactics, because Inzaghi's tactics showed up against Barcelona, showed up against Bayern Munich, This was not the Inter Milan we had seen. This is not the same one. And I don't know what Inzaghi told him. I have no idea what happened. I do know he is living probably to Saudi Arabia, but I doubt that made the players play like shit. The reality is that no matter what Inzaghi did this game, what subs he made, what people he put in, no matter what formation he played, drop back, park the bus, whatever he would have played, they would have gotten destroyed. Because it wasn't the man. I don't think it was the manager's problem. It's the player's problem. And maybe the manager contributed to that by negative speeches or something like that. I doubt Inzaghi said y'all are trash, y'all are probably not going to win, so don't try. So I really put this blame on the players. I really do. And I've heard a lot of this argument of, PSG had won their league months ago, so they were fresh, and Inter Milan just finished a grueling chance to win the Serie A. That doesn't count, man. It was a week ago. A week ago is not far. It was a week ago that the league ended. There is no excuses to what we saw. They would have had enough time to rest. Enough time. No, Lautaro's injured, but the whole team's injured or something. Dreadful performance by Inter Milan. And it's sad because you're going to see plenty of these guys' career, at Inter at least, come to an end. They'll probably never, ever end up in a Champions League final again, and they just lost 5-0. You won't see Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan, Acerbi, who else? Maybe even Dumfries, you won't see him in a Champions League final again. Maybe Lautaro, maybe Thuram, probably Nicolo Varela, you might see him in an Inter shirt in general, Bastoni as well, but in a Champions League final, I am not sure. Major rebuilding, major restorations needs to happen in this club because they were going on a great trajectory. But I mean, when you have 30 plus squad, this is the things that happen. You just can't keep up to a young team like PSG. To finish it off, man, as I said, props to PSG. It was so wholesome to see the stories of all of these PSG players who I actually enjoy. Not like I didn't like Mbappe, Neymar, or Messi. I didn't like none of those. Verratti, yeah, I despise Verratti. All the players in the squad, yes, the squad is like millions of euros, but they actually do seem quite humble, quite down to earth. Same with Luis Enrique, man. I mean, the story about his daughter and everything, and the PSG fans doing that tifo for him. Not only that, but stories like Pacho's. I mean, this team, yeah, PSG has never been a likable club. It may seem like a spoiled child, but this core of players, these teams, these group of players are really likable. The football that Luis Enrique had them playing was incredible. Great way to finish off the season, to top it off. And now Dembele is gonna have talks about being the Ballon d'Or, guys, after leaving Barcelona and being drowned as a failure by Barcelona. But this season he's truly shown his quality, and I'm glad for all of them. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on next one.